And we're live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to some Kayfabe chats. I'm your host, Jordan Pierce Owens. As I said, John was a man. He's not just a friend. Some may call him a brother because he's my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Mega.
What up, y'all?
So we're recording here. We're just a few hours separated from Clash of Champions. My first question is, why did they take out the Thuh? Well, what was wrong with Clash of the Champions?
Are you sure it had a "the" in there?
Didn't
I don't know
WCW?
this Clash of Champions.
WCW had a. Oh, WCW didn't have a Thuh?
I don't think there was a "the" in there.
Oh, am I making things up? No, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. There was a thug for WCW.
I'm not talking about WCW. They've done Clash of Champions for years in WWE. Go back to that.
I
But
know.
it,
I'm
yeah,
just asking. Originally, why when they took it, were they like screw the thug?
well, because the to me would have been a bunch of matches of champions versus other champions, and it is not that. So,
Okay. I mean, it still sounds
which
like champions fighting each other, Clash of Champions.
which
So it sounds
honestly,
like it's the
yes,
same thing.
this pay per view should be Raw champs versus SmackDown champs, just for like a brand supremacy kind of thing.
I guess
That's
before.
once a year, the Clash of the Champions should be Universal Champ, WWE Champ, Intercontinental Champ, US Champ, Tag Team Champ, Tag Team Champ. They should have just had everybody fight each other.
I will say they kind of. I thought they were gonna do that when they had Shinsuke and
Yeah.
Cesaro pop up on Raw, because I was like, oh, that's a fresh matchup: Cesaro and Shinsuke versus Street Profits. Save
Yeah,
that
I
for
thought they
Clash
might
of
be trying to
Champions.
unify the belts.
I don't want that because I mean both shows, unless you kill the brand split, I think they both need tags and midterm titles. But
Tag teams
instead,
don't
we
really.
got
They
we
don't
got a
have no damn
rematch.
team. They don't have no
Well,
damn team.
that's their fault, and they do have a few teams. Don't forget about the Forgotten Sons; they're coming back.
Yes, yes. No, but think about it though. Like honestly, that's why the women's tag team champions are just one belts and they float brand to brand. That's what the tag team champs could do as well. I'm not saying combine all the championships. I'm just saying
I
tag
understand.
team because their well isn't deep enough to have two sets of champs. I mean, every week it's been Shinsuke and Cesaro against the Lucha House Party. It's like, okay, what are we gonna do next? So I'm waiting
And
for it.
in that regard, actually, yeah, I'll probably go ahead and agree with you on that. I wouldn't mind if there was just one champs for tags, and hey, they float between brands. Whoever has the next number one contender will pop up. Well, I guess let's start off at the beginning here. Clash of Champions. First, we got some changes to the card that we found out on the pre-show here. Poor Nikki Cross no longer on the show, and then we also lost. Was it Baszler that we lost technically?
They said Baszler and Naya, so on the official tweet, which I did not catch until the end of the show because you saw my tweet. I
Oh,
was waiting. I thought that tag team match was going to be before the main event as that kind of like breaker in time, you know?
yeah.
And then they were like, up next is Roman and Jay. And I'm like, what? Where the hell did the tag team match go? And then I
I
found
wonder if
out,
that would have been the placement because yeah, usually they don't do the both world title matches back to back. So I
no,
wonder
no,
if that
no.
was the placement. But they do
Yeah.
mention it during the kickoff too. I usually skim through the kickoff, but they do mention I happen to catch that Jackson Baszler was not happening.
Yeah, I must have missed that. I did miss the first 10 to 15 minutes
Yeah,
of the kickoff, and I might have missed that because I didn't hear any explanation about Nikki, and I didn't hear any explanation about the tag team match. So I was very thrown off when we went into the main event, and I was just like, did they just cut this match on a night that they were like, every championship is on the line? And then I'm like, they just totally skipped the title match. Um, so yeah, so the definitely unfortunate on both Nikki and the tag team side. I feel bad for the Riot Squad finally getting their big opportunity and
yeah. And I'll,
getting
I'll
a
touch
win.
upon an idea of what they could have done maybe later on with the Riot Squad, but we'll get there. Instead, now Asuka and Zelina got moved to the main card, which I felt like it should have been from the get go. Instead, on the kickoff, we had Cesaro and Nakamura successfully defeating Kalisto and Lindsay Dorado in about 10:45. Lucha House Party not getting the titles. I thought maybe they had a chance, but especially once it's on the kickoff, I was like, all right, foregone conclusion. It's fine. Like you said, we've seen this kind of. This is one of those matches where I felt like we've seen it a little bit these past few weeks. So, what do you think of the opener?
I thought it was okay. I felt bad a little bit for Cesaro and Nakamura to be on the kickoff. You know,
It ain't their first time, won't be their last time, sadly.
no, but it's just unfortunate in general, just to the fact of, like I said, we have a night of all championships on the line, and that got to be the kind of shuffled off to the side kind of match, and it's a bummer. I mean, I think honestly that what they should have done for the kickoff is they should have had R-Truth actually defend the 24/7 belt, and then they could have done that as a kickoff match, and they should have left all the main card belts, on the actual pay-per-view, especially if they knew they weren't going to have the tag team match with the women. And then even that Bailey match kind of getting jacked up. So
Yeah.
they had the room, they had the time, they could have just done that match on the main card. So that was unfortunate, but like I said, I feel like this is what we're seeing on SmackDown every week in general. I did like that it was finally Kalisto in the match, at least for once, because we've had so much of Lindsay and Brad Metalik, so it was nice to kind of mix up the team. Still waiting for them to break up. Obviously, they keep teasing it. And
Yeah. What a weird team to break up, too. Like, I mean, I would be okay breaking them up, but what a weird team to, like, actually actively break up. Like, what, are they going to feud with each other? Like, none of them are really heels.
Yeah, well, at least they're trying to make Kalisto a heel, so we'll see. We'll see what they do with it. But I was glad he was in the mix. It was a fun match. It was a good time. So,
yeah.
Decent kickoff.
No, yeah, it was definitely fine. I do like some of your ideas you had there. I was cool with. We'll go on now to the main show. It's hard to say what the match of the night was. I thought we had a couple interesting matches here. This might be the match of the night, though. Not that surprising either. IC title match. Sami Zayn recaptures or retains, now depending on how you look at it. He recaptured the Intercontinental title, defeating Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles in the longest match of the night, 26 minutes. 40 seconds, give or take, to, like I said, retain, regain. Fun three-way. The only small complaint I have is, why did they give it to us in a normal way on SmackDown? I thought that was a little peculiar. They could have done just something else. Like, they could have just done a promo. It just seems very weird booking, because usually, the logic usually is don't have them touch, save it for the pay-per-view. Instead, they gave it to us just without the ladder. So that's my only weird thing, is that I think they're overdoing it sometimes on Raw and SmackDown, and we get to the pay-per-view and you're like, oh, I've seen it. So luckily this obviously was a notch above, because you had, of course, the high spots, and Jeff still, despite all these years later, still going off the highest ladder available. So yeah, fun stuff here. Probably the right opener. Yeah, good stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely the right opener. I agree. Probably match of the night. A ton of fun. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, I was stoked that this is the way they went with it. My hope was that they were going to do this, that they were going to actually do a ladder match, since they had kind of that whole setup of, kind of like Shawn and Razor back in the day.
Mania '94.
I'm the real champ. No, I'm the champ. And then, okay, so let's hang both belts and we'll find who's undisputed. So I was looking forward to it. A little surprised they went with Sammy, to be honest. Like, I was
very surprised.
I thought for sure Jeff would retain. I mean, I think we talked the last time I was on this with you was after SummerSlam, and we were saying how we were shocked that Jeff didn't get to defend it at SummerSlam. He didn't defend it the week later at Payback.
Really weird.
So here was the first big match, and he lost it right away. So that was unfortunate. Some cool spots with the whole handcuff thing, kind of going through Jeff's ear and hooking him to the ladder. A little insane to do. But yeah, hell of a match, hell of a spot. Three great guys. I think it'll be fun storyline wise to see Sammy with it now, because he'll just be like, "Oh, I told you so," and I'm the champ, and blah blah blah. He'll just get to be, really obnoxious now with it. But kind of bummed that Jeff lost it already.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it is true that this was, Big Hardy's first big defense. Very surprised Zayn won it. I would have been possibly getting it over Zayn, because I kind of figured Zayn might have a little bit of heat for kind of leaving them high and dry with the IC title, but they're obviously cool with it. So up next, this might have been the match of the night. Drew Gulak rolled up R-Truth to win the 24/7 title.
You mean the small package championship?
You just got a lot louder, by the way, whatever you just did.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, small package. I don't remember anymore. Yeah. Once you get that title, shouldn't you just leave the fucking building? Like, why does people stick around? That's
Yeah.
all I got for
Well,
this.
they stick around so R-Truth can get it back before the end of the night. So,
At least turn
congrats
it
to
around.
R-Truth in his 67th title reign.
Like if you, I don't even know. Like he's kind of funny. Like, well, what's the thing he said at nine? I don't even remember what he said. But I don't know. Like have
Well, little Jimmy was back tonight, so that
he's
was the
been
big
back.
thing.
He's been back.
Kinda, but tonight he was really back.
No, he's been back. There's been a couple times where he's holding his hand and talking to him again lately.
Yeah,
I
but
guess Tozawa's still dead, by the way, according to the promo.
yeah, he got ate by a shark.
Yeah, so that's a thing currently happening.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, that's a thing, people. Yeah.
I just there's potential for this belt to be more than what it is, and I just hate that it's literally just become this whole comedy act. That it's just constantly like, all I got to do is run up and roll you up, and that's it. Like, no one can kick out of the massive roll up situation, like no matter what. And it just gets to be a little old. I mean, if these guys were in a match, they wouldn't lose a match to a roll up, but for somehow they can lose backstage very easily to just somebody coming up and doing that. And I just, I mean, I get that R-Truth's hilarious with it, and it's his baby, and he's the 24/7 7-Eleven I-95 South European television champion. But I thought they were going to go somewhere a little bit different. Like when Riddick Moss held it for like 3 weeks, he was actually like,
in a
come
match,
and get me, and was kind of like a badass with it. And I was like, okay, they're going to actually start playing this up a little bit different. And then nope, went right back to them. And then the whole ninja thing. And it's unfortunate because, I mean, even Gulak getting it tonight, it was like, okay, let him have it for a week. Like, I mean, you can't even make it out the night anymore.
And the night with it, you know what I mean? I was just, as soon as I was like, we're gonna cut back to him, and it's not even anything interesting too. Like back in the day, Crash Alley they put thought into it and filmed it. Now it's literally just, he's gonna be cutting a promo. The guy's gonna see him. He's gonna roll him up, and then they just did it again. Gulak's cutting a promo. R-Truth's around the corner, rolls him up. There's just no thought put into it. They probably thought last second, we got to do something with R-Truth tonight. So, just I don't know. It's not funny anymore. Just at least put thought into it. Have a match occasionally. Like R-Truth Drew Gulak probably could have been a fun match, but or like you said, have Gulak have fun with it. Put it on SmackDown. Take it off Raw for a little bit, but. We're back to status quo, basically. At the end of the night, you could literally take both segments out, and you wouldn't know a difference if you went into Raw tomorrow. Up next, Raw Women's title. Asuka defeated Zelina Vega in about 7:05. I think Zelina's had a really good year this year. I think this is kind of like a bit of a present to her, giving her this big pay-per-view match here. It was fine. I thought it was a decent match. These two work together. Might lead into something else. Zelina with the attack afterwards here. So I like both women here. I wouldn't have hated her getting it, but I figured we'd get a little bit of a longer burn here if they ever do go that route. Asuka retains. What's your thoughts here on the Raw Women's title?
Yeah, I thought it played out exactly like I thought it would. Asuka retaining. Very happy for Zelina, though. It was funny watching social media tonight and how many people were like, oh, wow, she can wrestle. I'm like, where the hell have all these people been? But that just goes to show you.
Using her mostly as a mouthpiece. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that I'm just glad she's getting her due. I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere. It was just, all of a sudden like, oh, not with Andrade or Angel anymore. And she had her own music in Titantron on like the same night. And it was like, okay. So now she's like, oh, it's my time. I'm challenging for the belt. And it was nice to see something fresh. I'm glad she's finally getting an opportunity because, I know that she's been wanting to wrestle and she's kind of been just doing this. It's what the company wanted. And she did her time and now they're letting her run and that's great. And hopefully eventually she'll get an opportunity with that belt. But yeah, tonight was not the time, but it was good to get her out there, get her exposed and let people see what she could do. And we'll go from there. And I love that she kept the heel part up even when Asuka tried to shake her hand and she went with the bow and you're like, okay, cool. And then nope, boosh. So I dug it and we'll see where it goes.
Up next, U.S. title match. Bobby, not lastly, but leastly, Bobby Lashley defeating Apollo Crews, 8:15 here. Yeah, I'm not gonna shit on it, but again, just we've seen it. This definitely also could have been a contender for kickoff. In fact, if I had to choose, I might have switched this in the tag team. If you want me to be totally honest with you, um, I don't know. I just feel like if you wanted a little bit of a mix-up, Lashley, Ricochet, Lashley, something. Just Lashley, Apollo just didn't. Their matches have never been bad, but they've never been great enough to where I'm like, yeah, give me that for the third time. So this is just very much is what it is. It was one of those matches from the get go. I was like, okay, and in the end, okay, you.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. We've seen it before. I was bummed that this was the match. I thought there was a point about a year ago where they were like, we're moving away from, ex-champions just when they lose the belt, getting the automatic rematch and going, switching things up. And I feel like we pretty much still get that every single time. Whenever a champ loses, they get their rematch, and we have to see it again. It would have been nice to have seen maybe even a triple threat, like you said, with maybe Ricochet in there,
sure,
just to have it mixed up a little bit. Because, like you said, it's not a bad match. They had a good match. Both guys super talented, but just been there, done that, and wish I would have saw something a little bit different. But it was what it was.
Well, I guess you could cut and paste what we just said for me for this next match. Street Profits retain the Raw tag titles against Andrade and Garza, 8-10. Again, they have good chemistry. These two teams have fun together, but it's just we've had it on Raw, we've had it on pay-per-views, I believe, and it's the same outcome. I almost thought, and I've said this actually before, I thought we're gonna give it to Andrade and Garza because I was like, okay, that's why we're doing this again, right? Because we're gonna give them the tag titles. Like maybe they didn't need Zelina. No, it's just back to the Profits. Very odd ending too. Don't know if that's how it was meant to be. I
don't think so.
I don't know. You could actually see Andrade like, dude. Like he had his arm up for like another 5 seconds. Like, come on. So odd ending too. I don't like obviously didn't like the ending. I mean, again, not a bad match, but it just if you had chose me during that triple threat on Raw, I thought they were the last team they were gonna go, because I was like, well, we've seen that before, so we'll try one of the other two teams. But nope. So what you got here for Profits retaining against? They don't even have a team name, do they? Andrade and Garza.
No. It feels like they just gave up on trying to make teams. Like they've gotten so lazy in the last couple of years. All they do is play like one guy's song for 20 seconds and then bleed into the next song. Like instead of giving them like a tag team name and a tag team song, it's like, oh no, we'll just have Cesaro come out and and then we'll blast in the Shinsuke song and then he can come out.
They're the Bar 2.0.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just I feel like they're just so lazy with tag teams right now. Like they're not even trying. I agree. This match, this could have been the kickoff match for me. I don't like Andrade and Angel as a tag team, like really at all. I just feel it's very thrown together. I don't feel like they mash very well. Tonight, I did feel like they had the best showing of what they've done together. But like, I don't know. I just don't even like Garza very much. And I think that's what throws me off with him. Andrade is I like Andrade, but it just something feels off about the two of them being thrown together. I just don't feel the chemistry. And, and then with Street Profits, we've seen it just a dozen times over the last couple months. It's been that. I mean, literally going back to WrestleMania at this point, then it's just like, come on, man. I need something different. Please give me a different fucking
We're
team.
in late September. Yeah, the match you just referenced was in April. Come on.
Same shit. And it's just like, and the only team I really wanted pushed was Ricochet and Cedric, and we saw how that went. So, we don't have very many options. Viking Raiders are hurt, so who's next? Who's next to step up to the plate? I don't know. I guess
Slapjack and T-Bar.
Yes, exactly. So this match was just meh for me, and definitely the ending seemed off. The announcers sounded off. They were like, he kicked out. Oh wait, the match is over. Okay, I guess it's over.
Yeah, guess we're done.
There was like something happened. I did read a little bit ago that Angel got hurt, so I don't know if they just
there's one quick shot at the end where it's like them and the ref, and Angel's like he's holding his hand. So
I don't know if they just pulled the plug early because of that, and they were just like wrap it up. But I could have went without this one.
Yeah, between that and the was it Asuka and Mickey James match. There's some funky endings lately.
Yeah, jeez, that one.
And then that one was sad too, because it was Mickey's big old like last maybe chance for the title. And up next, again we talked about a match of the year. R-Truth defeated Gulak to get that 24/7 title back. Um, and then next, Bailey comes out, issues an open challenge. Asuka answers it. Eh, this ends in 3 minutes and 40 seconds due to a disqualification here. Sets up a little bit more of Sasha and Bailey. Yeah, it just sucks that I thought, again, there's no one else could get the shine here. Answer that open challenge, have a real match. Hell, Ruby and Liv, I think, should have popped up for a 3-way and been like, hey, we got nothing to do. Our opponent's called out. Still give them some shine. Bailey can still squeak it out in a cheating way of some sort. So, I don't know. I just kind of felt like we lost 2 matches here because, this is a throwaway, 3-minute match before it just segues into a setup for a future match here. So it's really not much more to say here. What about you?
Yeah. Disappointed, very much so. This goes back to them repeating the same shit. An open challenge, anybody could come out. They could have fucking had a surprise from NXT just for the one night, just something special. And we got Asuka running out. We saw an Asuka match already tonight.
Yeah,
we saw Asuka
didn't need it.
We saw Asuka and Bailey at SummerSlam. Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion. Why are we allowing her to run out and accept a challenge from the SmackDown Champion? There are other girls on SmackDown that should have came out. And instead, we get the other champion who already wrestled tonight. So it just doesn't make any sense, man. It just, it could have been any of the other women. So just very disappointing, man. When Asuka's music hit, I was just like, come on, dude.
I agree. It was such a whimper of, okay, open challenge. Maybe they're going to, oh, okay. And I looked down and just like continued doing something else. I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, just, I'm like, really? Like, I got really excited when they said open challenge, and I started thinking like, oh, like Dakota Kai is going to run out, or, like Tegan Knox, like somebody. And no, we get Asuka. And it's not a ding on Asuka. It's just like I said, we saw it already.
We had it.
She's a champion. Yeah. We've already just did this match of champion versus champion.
It accomplished nothing. Nothing.
It did nothing at all. I mean, I expected Sasha to come out of nowhere and, get her little beat down. Obviously, we're building to that. I'm guessing Hell in a Cell, that will be the main event, but yeah, this was a bummer.
Well, next up, call an ambulance here because Drew McIntyre defeats Randy Orton in 21-35 to retain the World Championship. It's a fun brawl. I mean, these two work decently together here. It's not your typical matcher. It's just a lot more fighting here, straightforward to it. Cameos galore. You have Big Show pop up. You have Christian in the back. You have even HBK. His made me laugh. Super Cake and then just kind of shoving him off with a little shove. My only small complaint about that, I like the cameos at the same time. I'm like, kind of makes McIntyre look a little weak. If you think about it, he needed 3 different people to help him win. A little bit.
Disagree.
How? He had 3 people to win the title, retain the title here. So, He
didn't need them. It was just added, everybody getting their come-ups, that Orton has fucked over in the last couple months. So I was
waiting for good old Flair. I thought maybe Flair would throw, Drew a chair or something, but it's at the end. He said, so it's kind of gimmicky, but I laughed of him just in the driver's seat, like something about how he won't obey the speed limit or whatever he said, and honks and drives away. So, I thought this was fine. I had enough fun with this. What do you think about McIntyre?
I loved it. This is a great match. This is another contender for match of the night. I thought they killed it. Really, really did. I thought the cameos were awesome. I love that everybody came back and got their revenge for what's happened over the last couple months. I honestly was a little worried that Orton was going to take the belt tonight as well. And, I'm kind of waiting for it to happen, but they keep letting Drew, which I love because I love Drew as champ. And I think like this is just great, you know, especially the buildup has been awesome with the fractured jaw and kind of coming back throughout the odds and, you know, and everything. And just, you know, I loved it. This match was great. This was also the match where we got into the Thunderdome tonight, myself through WWE. And then I let my daughter get on it and kind of watch. And this was the match. We were kind of right at the beginning of this match, trying to get into it, and finally successful for the first time. I've had several invites into the Thunderdome and have been unsuccessful actually getting onto the damn thing. But tonight we were successful, and it was pretty cool. It was cool to be on it. And this was the match where it started. When you get invited, it actually has a certain time that you need to go on it. And this was the time, was during this match. So I was able to get on from this point on and finish out the pay-per-view in the Dome, which was actually kind of cool because you're watching a live feed through your computer. And it was a good couple minutes faster than where the live feed was on television. Oh. So I had it on the TV in the background, and yeah, it was kind of interesting seeing how much further along the feed was that we were watching on the computer than what was actually on TV. The other funny side note to it was you can hear Shane McMahon producing while you're on it, and he actually gives you guys he talks to the people through the Thunderdome feed, and basically is asking for reactions. Is like, like every time a cameo popped up, it was like, oh guys, it's Christian, what do you think about Christian? Show your love for Christian. Like he was like giving instruction, which was actually hilarious to hear. A lot of it was very bland, and it was just kind of, oh, there he is, it's HBK, show him some love. What do you think about HBK? Come on, Thunderdome, WWE Universe, HBK's here, what do you think? And like, so anytime like a big moment happened, he would come on the mic and be like, show some love, what do you think? Like, and trying to get the crowd pumped, for certain things. Oh, it's the Nature Boy, he's in the ambulance, guys, come on, woo, it's Nature Boy. So that was hilarious, especially as the night went on, and it was like, Jey Uso, everybody, what do you think about Jey Uso? This is a big moment. Like, so that was kind of funny. The first time it came on, I was like, is that Shane talking? Like, what the hell? But that was kind of interesting. But yeah, definitely a cool experience. But back to the match. Awesome match. Glad Drew retained. We were very happy about that. Hopefully somewhere on somebody's Thunderdome screen, it was me and my daughter being like, woo, for this match. So yeah, really, really fun time with it. I don't understand though, and maybe you know why, but why do you think this was not the main event?
Oh, yeah, it's funny. I definitely was going to ask you that basically at the next one. Yeah, because I was going to say if I had to go by just simply, this would have ended the night on a higher note. Yes, this had all the cameos. You could argue that these two are bigger stars.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. I know
it didn't make any sense to me, dude. Like I was like, it made me, during the Roman J match, I kept waiting for something big to happen. Like at the end, like, oh, this is going to end on a DQ. Brock Lesnar's gonna come back and like F5.
It almost made me think Jay had a small chance. Like, are they gonna end with Jay?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, Jay's gonna win this, and we're gonna go out with him celebrating and confetti falling from the ceiling. Like, I didn't get why this was not the main event, because
I agree.
Drew retained. Usually, heels do not end the night, on top. Yeah. And yeah, all the cameos, everything that happened in this with the ambulance driving.
This has a stipulation. Yeah, ending, that would have ended fun.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, there's definitely something I was going to ask you because no, I agree with you. I don't know. Maybe that's only thing I think of is maybe that's them knowing that's what we think. I don't know. And they go, well, it'll make you more interested in the main event because you'll think maybe something's going to happen. And then my only other guess is they love Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns needs to be the top billing. That's my other guess. That's funny though about the Shane McMahon thing, that I haven't heard that or read that yet, so that's kind of funny. He's there. It reminds me of whenever I used to do wrestling at the county fair, they would be like always tell me like, hype up the people, get because it's a different kind of crowd. They're like, get a reaction. Hey, what do you think about this guy? So it reminds me of that a lot. But yeah, I too thought maybe Orton definitely had a shot here. It's a big rematch, stipulation, shenanigans, but I even thought for a second it would have been maybe interesting if Flair came out, but then screwed over Drew again. But we retained. So yeah, next up we just talked about Roman Reigns defeating Jey Uso in 22:58. I actually really like the build up to this. This was had a really good story you could cling on to here. I always dig too. This is a fresh matchup, fresh guy in the main event. I'm definitely never going to really argue that. Jay, in the same vein as a Kofi or whoever, has busted his ass. For many years now, has gotten better over the years too, from when he first started. So, yeah, I was definitely this was one that I was actually kind of invested in. And ended kind of interesting. It's a good story being told. I wish Jay maybe got a little more in towards the end. It was kind of a beatdown fest towards the end there, but interesting story. Again, weird ending to a degree. But hey, Roman walks away with that championship. I don't hate the heel turn. I didn't like how he won the title, but other than that, I liked the heel turn. So, what do you think about the big dog?
Well, I think the big moment of the night, if you scoot over a little bit, is that shirtless Roman. That was what social media was talking about. The vest was gone, and beefy Roman Reigns made his impact tonight. So this match, the buildup was great, like you said. I love the built-in story of the fact that they're cousins, best friends that grew up together. But now, Jay getting his moment to shine, and it was a really, really good match. Not super hot on the ending of just the beatdown and just the constant, call me the tribal chief. I'm the tribal chief. I'm at the head of the table. Like I'm like, okay, like how many times, and then like even like Heyman being like, you are my tribal chief. You are my tribal chief. Like I don't know, man. It's a little much for me, but but then Jimmy coming down with the towel and it's like, don't do it, and he just keeps beating him down, and of course he throws in the towel and is like, you're the trouble chief, man. Come on, Oos. But I love the storyline. I love, Roman just needs some damn new music now, man. We got to get him fully away from the Shield shit. Like when he came back, he shouldn't have been. I was like, okay, get rid of the vest. Get a new outfit and get a new damn song. You're a bad guy now. We got to change the shit up. We need to totally get away from the whole Shield, remnants. And so hopefully they do that, change up his Titantron a little bit. He needs the rest of the makeover to happen. But I love it. I mean, obviously, I'm reading they're going to build him up. He is the new Brock Lesnar, that WWE's looking at him as basically, here's a Brock that we have full time. So we're going to build him up like a beast. He's going to be really hard to beat, and he's probably going to have that belt for a long time to come. So strap on in. But I really appreciated them giving somebody new the rub, somebody new a chance. I mean, I never, when they did that fatal four-way, and I never in a million years thought that Jay was going to be the one to win. No. It was just like, oh, okay, cool. They threw him a bone. His cousin's in the match, whatever. They haven't done shit with him since March when, Jimmy got hurt at WrestleMania. So it was like, okay, go earn your paycheck tonight. And
that was a fear I had, though, was that I was fearing this was going to be a Brock Lesnar squash. I was fearing that this was going to be Superman punch, spear, pin, but luckily they actually had a real match, so I'm fine with how it all turned out.
Yeah, which is good, because I know they're talking about, obviously building up Roman with that whole, wreck everyone and leave kind of thing of just real quick squash wins, and then getting out of there without having to put much into it. So I'm glad. It feels almost like WWE starting to look at new possibilities a bit, with going with Jay. I mean, even you can see it bleed into NXT a little bit with Kyle O'Reilly being the one getting the title shot against him. It's like, okay, like somebody brand new, different, unique. So I like it. I hope that this is a sign of some things to come. We'll see where they go on Raw now that Orton's hopefully out of the mix for a little bit. Maybe, go with, Keith or whatever, but curious to see where it all goes. But this was not really the match that should have ended the night. Like we talked about, it should have been the other match, but good, solid match, good storytelling. I enjoyed it a lot. Overall, I think this was a hell of a pay-per-view, to be honest. I mean, I think pretty much every match delivered for the most part.
It's hard for me to say a hell of a. I think it definitely ended strong here. I mean, yeah, I think both world title matches for once. I don't really have a hell of a lot to complain on for the world title matches here. Raw Women's title again. I'll give that a thumbs up as well here. 24/7. You can throw away and forget about it. T minus now. Tag titles were fine. US was fine. IC was pretty good though. So yeah, like this was a weird pay per view for me because it basically met my expectations of half of it. I was like meh, okay, but didn't hate it too. So which is definitely good need to be said. And then half of it, I was intrigued. I was intrigued by the Universal title match and the IC title match, and it lived up if not surpassed expectations. So definitely some stuff on here that's actually worth checking out. It's probably more worth checking out than a payback, if you will. So yeah, decent PPV here of COC without the T, Clash of Champions.
Gold Rush. Let's not forget the subtitle.
Oh, sorry.
Gold
Yes.
Rush.
What's Hell in a Cell? This time it's personal. Like, what's going to be the Hell in a Cell moniker?
Get off my cage.
HIAC. Get off my cage.
Get off my cage.
Let's talk about a couple more things since I have you here on the show. Suburban Commando. No. Let's talk.
Hell of a segue.
Retribution.
Oh God.
So we had a reveal on Monday. Poor Mia Yim can't keep her mask up. That's obviously Mercedes Martinez. Dijak, DL Madden, and everyone's about 95% sure it's Shane Thorne.
It is Shane Thorne. I gave you the solid concrete evidence of who that is. Huh?
What's the evidence? I forgot.
His Twitter.
Oh, the Twitter. That's right.
He admitted it.
Okay. Oh, he could be.
He's not. His whole profile changed.
So it's Shane Thorne as which one's Mace?
Mace is Deal Madden.
Mace, T-Bar, Slapjack, Polywhirl, and Anastasia. No, I don't know what they're gonna be called. Yeah, so
somebody call the Robert Stone brand. We need to know what these new names are.
Oh God, maybe it'll be Stony. Start off the night. Mia Yim can't keep her mask up. Dijakovic is talking about calling people whores, even though they now. Oh yeah, I am saying that wrong, aren't I?
Yeah.
It's 3 a.m.
I'm like, who are you talking about?
3 a.m. Don't judge me. They all have contracts now. So despite the fact that they've been tearing the place down and attacking security and breaking glass and setting fires, here's a contract and a paycheck because that checks out. I also didn't like too that like I don't like when they do big storylines like off air. Like that seemed like something that should have been like a segment of Raw. Like, okay, fine, if we give you contracts, will you stop? Like it just all of a sudden be like it's just for it to be a throwaway line always bothers me when they do that occasionally,
Well, especially because they're like, we're not going to stop doing what we were doing before. So now they're just getting paid for it. So
there's nothing other than they're going to get a good old paycheck, but not the other 20 so-and-sos, just those five, I believe. So do they split the money with the other 40? I don't know.
The other people are just doing it for the cause.
Yeah. I would be like, hey, can you float me some of that money, Slapjack? They were in the main event. They didn't win the main event too, which is kind of funny. This brand new monster group ends in a double DQ with the Hurt Business. I don't know. Just what's your theory so far here? I hope that there's still turnaround. I don't hate anyone in the group. I'm glad for Dijakovic, Vakovic, but I like both of the women a lot here. Thorne's been underused. Madden I haven't seen much of, but he has potential. What do you think of Retribution? Take your time. Mull it over.
This was, I don't know. You saw Raw before I did, and you were like, did you see Retribution? And I was like, oh, did they finally show who they are? And you were like, kinda. And I was like, you're like, just watch the first 10 minutes. And so I put on the first 10 minutes and got introduced to fucking T-Bar and Mace and Slapjack. And I don't understand. I don't like when they play the angle of insulting our intelligence. especially for the poor commentators who have to sit and play this shit off.
Yeah.
They don't have any fucking idea who these people are. You know, it's like when an NXT person debuts, they're the first to be like, "Oh, that's so and so."
That's Keith Lee.
Yeah. And so Mia Yim with her blue hair does a promo. No one knows that's Mia Yim. Like, it's, come on. Like, her and Mercedes, like I get Dijakovic. Like,
yeah.
If I didn't know, I probably wouldn't guess right off the bat that that's Dominic Dijakovic. Like, he shaved his head. He's got the face paint on. He's got a mask on. Okay. Like, I can kind of buy it. But I don't understand. They built these guys up for years in NXT, and then they bring them to Raw. Why the rebranding? Why couldn't we have just done an angle with them as who they are, just being frustrated with the system, right? They could have just played an angle of like, we're good, we're awesome wrestlers. We got stuck in NXT when we should have been on Raw and SmackDown the whole time. Like, play it against the curve, you know? Like, we should have been called up, but they kept calling up other people like, you know, Keith Lee and like, you know, Matt Riddle. Like, we should have been up here, and they could have just been who they were. I mean, it took away for the fact that we've been dealing a couple months of them in hoods and all this kind of stuff. Like, I wanted that big, like, whoosh reveal moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, it's the NXT group, right? It's these guys coming up, and they ruined it. And then they made them a laughing joke by giving them stupid fucking Mad Max names. You know, it's like, I know we're in the Thunderdome and all, but Jesus Christ, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just so dumb. And, you know, and it is unfortunate. I mean, props to them for trying to make this work. Dijakovic has been killing it on fucking Twitter.
Oh, to them, yeah, to the wrestlers themselves, yeah.
Yes, to them, like, because I mean, I'm sure they weren't thrilled when they were like, "Okay, you were the guys we picked for this," and they're like, "Oh, great!" Like, especially because this angle has been going on for months while they didn't know who was under the hoods, and obviously it was not them originally, and because they had nobody above 6 feet tall in the original group that kept coming out. Yeah, Dijakovic and Dio Madden are so damn big. It's like they didn't have nobody that size when they first started. And remember on SmackDown that one week, there were 3 girls clearly, and now there's only 2. So, you know, they obviously played around with this for a while. You know, so I'm sure they weren't thrilled when they got the call, like, you know, oh, you guys are going to be Retribution. They're like, great.
Dio Madden and Shane Thorne might have been thrilled. This might be their best shot so far.
Yeah, Shane, yes. Dio, okay. But, like, even with Dio, man, this is the guy that commentated on Raw for months when the draft fucking happened. And they had Jerry Lawler on Monday who sat next to him during all this time.
I was going to say that.
And then we don't recognize who this dude is with his long dreads. Like, come on. You know, and like you said, there's a built-in angle there, too. We haven't seen him since he was F5 through a table by Brock. He could have been like, no one cared about me, and I got sent back to NXT, and blah, 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 blah. Like I said, they had built-in angles that they could have done without having to do whatever the hell this is. Why are they so mad at WWE? It doesn't make any damn sense, you know. And then the fact that they messed up the place and cost them thousands of dollars, and they get contracts because, like, I saw a funny tweet the other day from Lance Storm where he was like, I got let go as being an agent for doing my job, and these guys go breaking shit and they get contracts. He was like, someone should have told me, I would have thrown a Molotov cocktail through the front office, you know. Like,
yeah, that was funny. I saw that tweet.
Yeah, it just goes to show, man. Like, it really is no logic sometimes. Like, why would anybody give them a contract? And because they're under contract, it doesn't mean that they have free reign. Like, they're acting like, like on commentary the whole night they were like, oh, they're under contract now. There's nothing we can do. What do you mean there's nothing we can do? There's still people of authority backstage that can suspend you and without pay, and that should be the reason why they signed them, so they can be like, we can now control somewhat of what they do. But for people that are fighting the system, they bought into the system by signing a contract. That doesn't even make any sense, because they should be like, no, we don't want contracts because we just want to kick ass and burn it all to the ground, you know? So, yeah, and then just having the pawns kind of run out.
A funny angle, too. Offer them contracts to go, okay, you'll stop now, right? And they rip it up and go, no, we want to continue being assholes.
Exactly. It would have made more sense. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Will this thing be short-lived? I know a lot of people online are like, this won't make it to the end of the year. You know, I'm curious to see.
It's October. It'll make it to the Survivor Series. They'll lose a 5 to no one will get eliminated on Team Raw. They'll eliminate them, and then they'll never see him.
Yeah, I'm curious. And then when this is over, are we going to see Dominic Dijakovic make his debut on Raw? Will we get Mia Yim? Will we get, Shane Thorne back? I'll be curious to see where the angles go with these guys down the road. I mean, it has potential, and they could really build on it and do something with it, but it's going to take a lot of work, and we'll see. We'll see how they can do this in the coming weeks.
You kind of nailed it on the head as far as my hopes of turning it around, because you said all 5 of them, you can form stories like a movie. You can start saying on Raw their backstories. Theo Madden, here I was, I quit football and I came to wrestling, and then you put me on commentary, fine. Then I get taken out. I never got a call by Lawler. No one gave a crap about me. Dijakovic. I was here 2 years before Keith Lee. Keith Lee's on Raw, not me, Mercedes Martinez, I've been on the Indies for 20 years. Shane Thorne, my partner, moved back to Australia, and you guys put me with Brendan Vink for 2 weeks and then forgot about me. Like, you can have...
He was on main event. All right?
He was on Raw. Him and Vink had a win on Raw.
Yes.
So,
I'm saying he was still popping up on main
event.
Oh,
he was still forget about him. he can use that then. He can go, I was on main event. Vince, I know you don't watch main event. So, you can have these kind of fun backstories every week. And then you could hopefully, like you said, they killed it by not having that simple big reveal of, hey, guess what? It's Dijakovic. It's, Dijakovic. Now almost like my mind's just not letting me do it. You had that big reveal and said the reveal was but just playing the commentators are going to be dumb now and we're not going to quite say it, even though, like you said, the girls thing was the most infuriating, because it's like, you can't even deny that's Mia Yim. One Mia Yim, match, it's Mia Yim. Her eyebrows, her hair, it's half her face is there. Like, I don't know. And then just for them to continue on to go, yeah, these 3, Mace, Flippy, and Floppy, so it had potential.
Girls' names tomorrow on Raw is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I know. Acid and Teardrop, tomorrow night on Raw. So they still turn around, like I said, hopefully these are temporary nicknames, and then finally when it's like, oh, it is Dijakovic, they'll just straight up say it now. They're like, oh, Dio Madden, I thought he looked familiar,
Yeah, because didn't we just see him like 2 weeks ago on Raw Underground fighting?
Oh, he was on that, wasn't he?
But he was running around as a part of Retribution. So.
I forgot about the Underground thing. While we're talking about that, what's your opinion on that? Because that's another thing I feel like I didn't hate it at first because it was kind of different. If you want to develop 1 or 2 segments to it, it's fine. And also, I was just hoping, okay, this is how they're going to build up Dabo Kato. Nope, he just lost to Braun. They're going to build a Riddick Moss. Okay, no, not really. Maybe kind of, sort of. Oh, is Ziggler going to get a different kind of character? No. So, like, again, I'm just like, who is this for? Because so far I ain't seen it. It seems like every week they go, oh, I thought maybe Baszler's group was going to have to get called up, because all of a sudden Baszler and her group were like badasses like one week, like, who is this for, Although I am glad to see all my buddies from Florida as the background people, or but
yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I kind of understood it and got it when they were at the PC still. Like, I felt like they at that point when they were still at the Performance Center, that they were like, we got to do something different, because it was such a monotonous kind of thing. Every Raw and SmackDown was just the same shit. And like, I felt like they were really trying hard that third hour to be like, let's do something different and unique to kind of spruce it up. And it made sense that they were kind of like in this Fight Clubby kind of thing. But once they went to the whole Thunderdome and they were at the Amway Center, what's the face?
Oh, I just don't. This is something that I know you're not alone in thinking it. I don't think it's changed all that much. Where it's still the one same arena with the same setup and the same background. It's just slightly bigger.
Yes, but we were at the Performance Center for 6 months. Like, okay. we've only been in the Thunderdome for a month, so I'm not bored of it yet. But like at the Performance Center, I was bored of it. It was the same old shit. It's the fucking barricades, and it was just very much the same visual aesthetic. So I understood Raw Underground at that point of being like, here's something a little bit different, right? We have a ring, we took the ropes off, and we're just gonna fight. It's like Fight Club, right? It's dingy, it's dirty. Like I got it. Like, but then when they went to they set up the Thunderdome and they went to the Amway Center, I thought for sure like that's done. Like they just moved
I
on.
never thought about that. Yeah.
I felt like they were just gonna move away from it, and then it came back again. And I honestly just don't like it. I just don't like it. It's just all it is very quick kind of squashes of these guys, like you said, that are just throwing punches. Like, I mean, it's just there's nothing to it. It's just punch, 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 punch. I slam you to the ground, punch, punch, punch. All right, he won, yay. Like it's boring to me. Like this fake UFC underground fighting thing. That's not what we watch WWE for.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It doesn't work for me. I give them props for trying something new. I don't like it. I mean, thank God it's only that last hour of Raw, because I mean, I end up just fast forwarding through it all. I don't even care enough to even sit through it. So, yeah, it's not for me, man. I'm not liking it at all.
I am surprised it stayed as long as it could. Like I said, my original idea was like, okay, a month and a half to build somebody up. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, when they first, I think it was the first week with Dabo, I was like, okay, it's a good way of building this up. Here's this guy that we haven't seen other than the greatest Royal Rumble back in the day. Build him up as this underground guy that Shane found. What was that?
I said, and the main event movie on Netflix.
Oh God, yeah, that's
He
watch
was
that.
the
But
bad guy.
it's almost like Star Wars. Like, are those really canon? Are those really canon?
They were in NXT.
So, but yeah, I still don't know. I just still feel like this is every week. It's like you said, it's all. You know me, as you just saw. I time the matches, and they're all usually 30 seconds to a minute and a half, a minute 18. Not much to them. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just got such a feeling that will be a hell of a payoff here. Let's do some talk and prediction real quick, because we're only a week away from another pay-per-view. TakeOver 31 is coming up next Sunday, October the 4th. You mentioned before, kind of an interesting main event here: Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT Championship. This is definitely a surprise when he won that Eliminator. Again, might have been my least likely winner of that. Not in a bad way though. I think these two might actually have one hell of a match potentially here. O'Reilly, since he's debuted, has been a tag team guy. When he first debuted, he was losing to Aleister Black, and then they put him in a tag team right after that, him and Bobby Fish, who continued on their tag team from Ring of Honor. So yeah, this might be cool. It's kind of interesting though. I also want to get your opinion on Undisputed Era, because it's like half the group is kind of face right now, half the group is still douchebags. Like Strong and Fish so far are still very much portrayed as heels, while O'Reilly's has started to show more face tendencies. The show has Cole to an extent, especially after he lost the match with Finn. So, what do you think about Finn and O'Reilly? Who do you see walking away? I think it's obviously too early for Finn to lose. This might be kind of like a thank you to O'Reilly for being a good hand too, kind of back, yeah. So I think Finn's walking away with the title, but I think it should be a good match though.
Finn's definitely walking away with the title. Did they just lose all their creativity to come up with a takeover name this go around? That they're just like takeover 31. Let's just go with that. It's so funny that every takeover's had some sort of name, and then they're just like,
Well, I guess unless you have a gimmick now, it's no longer, not Orlando, but it's no longer New Orleans, Boston. They can't go anywhere. So now it's like, we did in your
take over
house.
Thunderdome.
Halloween Havoc. They should have waited 3 weeks, just done Takeover Halloween Havoc.
Hey, at this pace, they'll have one in October too. It feels like they're going to start doing one a month now. Is the move?
True.
Just did one a couple weeks ago. It hasn't been that long since 30. So that was right before SummerSlam. So,
that is true. Good point. Yeah, I mean, I guess now they have a 2-hour show every week. They really could do a pay-per-view.
Yeah, why not? I still think they should do the pay-per-views in the Thunderdome though, just to give it a little bit of a better feel than
I'm going to disagree. I know a lot of people would agree with you as well, though. Because again, here's the thing. I'm agreeing with the fact that I know it's only been a month, but I like the fact that at least NXT has a different look. If it was in the Thunderdome, now you have 3 shows looking the same. So I'm fine with it looking a little different. Are you there? Can you hear me? Brother, can you hear me? He's looking
Lost
quizzically.
you. You froze out on me.
Oh, this is weird. Usually when I'm frozen, you're also.
Hello?
I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, there we go. Now you're starting to freeze. Now can you hear me? Let's do a pause while we wait.
The Thunderdome, and then because that was so ludicrous that you would disagree, you started freezing.
Oh, please, sir.
Even
Just because
Zoom was
someone has a
like,
different
"Shut the fuck
opinion than you,
up."
if someone has a different opinion than you, just make it ludicrous.
Even Zoom was like, "Y'all need to shut the hell up."
Oh, geez. You're high on your own power as usual. No, my simple logic was just simply now you're having all three shows look the same. I'm fine with NXT as normal, having a different look.
I was just talking about Takeover. That's it. I don't want all of
Oh, to have the
NXT in
bigger
the
show?
Thunderdome.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Maybe.
Because think about it. When they were traveling, the
Yeah, I
takeovers
know.
looked like the Thunderdome. They did it in a normal arena with the bigger stage, you know? So that's all
Not
I'm
true.
saying is the takeovers should give a bigger feel, like they're important, like a pay-per-view. And then yes, do continue to do the show. I love Full Sail. I don't ever want them to leave that
I
kind of
got
thing.
you.
I'm just talking about for a pay-per-view because that's what they were doing before, so why not now?
I got you. No, I got you more now. I got you more. I still disagree, but I got you more though. Io
But yes,
Shirai. What?
hold on. Well, I never really talked about Finn Balor and what's his face. So
Oh, talk about Finn Balor and what's his face. How dare you,
Finn
first of all.
Balor obviously will retain, but like I mentioned before, I was very shocked and happy that they're giving somebody new an opportunity. I feel like even NXT to an extent has the same five people that they kind of seem to revolve around when it comes to championship matches. I mean, hence Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest for the North American Championship. Like, come on, stop with the Johnny, all right? Like, some of these guys just need to get called the fuck up because I'm tired of seeing a lot of the same shit on NXT. Like Johnny needs to go, like so does Champa. Like some of these guys just need to get out of there. So I don't know why he switched to that. But in any case, looking forward to the match. It will be an awesome match. I have no doubt that they'll tear it down. As far as Undisputed Era goes, I really hope to God that they do not break this group up in NXT before they come up to Raw or SmackDown. I want to see them brought up. And Retribution should be a nice little doorway to bring up a group, to kind of oppose them, right? I think that'd be something cool. I know the draft is coming up. We got that announcement tonight during Clash of Champions that the draft is coming. I'm hoping NXT is a part of that, like it was a couple years ago.
Oh,
Like
it's got to be. I would imagine. Yeah,
I
sure.
would hope, but I mean, they were kind of, I don't know. The last go round, it wasn't as big of a deal as it was that first big draft when, Finn Balor got called up, and some of the other people where it was like, oh my god, like these NXT people are coming. So I really I feel I'm starting to get worried that they're going to break Undisputed Era up. Like you said, they're kind of mishmashing the group. They're not always gelling and getting along. I really they've had such a great run. I want to see them on the big stage together, and I'm a little worried that they're going to f it up in NXT and then they're going to go their separate ways. And I want to see that on the main roster. So hopefully we'll get that sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's going to be a great match.
No, I definitely agree with you. I don't want them split up. I kind of feel like the Raw or SmackDown. I mean, the draft might be kind of great. That would be a huge thing if Raw or SmackDown was able to pull like they just straight up were like, we got not just one, we got all four undisputed eras. You know what I mean? Because they've done pretty much everything in NXT. Cole was the champ. Roddy had that North American title. Fish and
Yeah.
O'Reilly, Fish and O'Reilly had the tag titles more than once. They've kind of done it here. So I'm hoping this is just basically the end of the NXT run where they're like, hey, let's give O'Reilly a bone. Let's try that. That's something different here. You know what I mean? And like Strong and Fish can kind of toil around as a tag team and trying out some different stuff with Cole because he just came off the match with Pat McAfee where he couldn't be a total heel either here. So yeah, hopefully that's what my hope is because I think there's still more that the group can do now on a different setting, Raw or SmackDown. Io Shirai defends the women's title against Candice LeRae. I think this should be a good match. I like LeRae getting the title shot here. I wouldn't mind a title change. Again, you could argue Shirai, she's had only one or two big defenses here, but I think she's I don't know. I think this has a possibility. Well, what do you think? Is any chance for a title change here?
I would. My heart says no. I think EO should keep it. It's too soon. But when I look at it from a bigger booking angle, it worries me a little bit because I'm like, we just talked about Johnny going against Damian and then her going against EO. They've been kind of hinting at, the power couple with their belts, this sets it up for that, I would hope that they wouldn't, rape Damian that quick of his championship either. But it does, it sets it up for that. And then it's kind of hard to avoid that writing on the wall, so to speak, with them both having title matches. They've been really playing up the whole power couple thing, and it's a good shot for that. So I think it'd be smarter to leave it on EO, but for that kind of purpose, I can see them swapping it.
It is possible, like you said, getting to that next match now, Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano. It does make you wonder because Gargano, I love Gargano. I've loved him for years. I was a big supporter of him in Evolve and whatnot. But again, like when you've had that world title and you've had the North American title, and then you're automatically the first challenger for Priest, well, it will be a good match, I'm sure. There's just plenty of other faces out there that I'm surprised didn't have the shot. Cameron Grimes, Bronson Reed. There's several guys that could have gotten a big North American title shot here. And it does make you wonder, are they going the route with Gargano again because of that angle, because of the whole possibility of having the power couple, oh, look at your belt, look at your belt, the dinner table and stuff like that. So, and, they've already teased that we got more coming with Candice and Tegan. So, could Tegan would be a great and obvious number one contender for Candice's title. Make that a feud. You know what I mean? So you already have that kind of built in. So it's possible here. So I'm kind of flip-flopping on my guesses because I'm going to stick with Candice, but now I got to go with Precious because you built him up for so long to a degree. They've toiled with him. Even when he's lost, it's been the big names and a big fought hard match. But, huh? Oh, am I robotic? Oh, so there you go. Now you froze. Now that makes sense on my end. What are we talking about? All right, so yeah, Priest retains. Last match they just announced this fourth match on the card: Kushida versus Velveteen Dream.
Hey, you didn't even talk to me about Damian. I love how you just skipped right over me on that.
Oops.
Thanks a lot. Not just about your opinion on the
match. I just want you here to hear my opinion. I don't want to hear your opinion. I just want you to hear mine. No.
All I got to say about it, because I just spoke my opinion on the whole Candice and Johnny thing. I just hope that they don't screw over Damian. That's all I got to say. I love Damian Priest. I'm glad he's got the belt. It's too soon. He's only had one defense, and I'd hate to see him, lose it right away. So we'll see, but it should be a good match.
Finally on the card, Kushida versus Velveteen Dream here. All four matches that definitely have the potential to be good matches. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I just not looking forward to this match.
It should be an okay match. I'm hoping they put Kushida over. I think he's got loads of potential. What do you think about this match?
I just told you. I don't have very much love for this match. Feels like a kickoff match, throwaway. Not feeling this feud. I've been fast forwarding through it on NXT. Yeah, I feel like they've dropped the ball on Kushida already, and then they don't know what to do with Velveteen because everybody hates him and wants him fired right now. So.
All right, and we're back, man. What an interview so heated that we had to go off there to finish it. So my final question for you, Don Mecca, is who comes up with all the Jeff Hardy earhole spots? Is it him or his opponents? Because you had Randy Orton messing around with his ear in Hell in a Cell. Now you got his ear in ladder matches. What's next, and who comes up with them, Jeff or his opponents?
Oh, I think Jeff is a sadistic fuck that keeps bringing the shit up and is like, let's do this. Yeah, I think it would have been so much cooler tonight to have him win climbing up that ladder with another ladder attached to his head and pulling down the belts. That would have been, a classic moment forever, for life, to be like, remember that ladder match Jeff won with a ladder handcuffed through his ear. That would have been phenomenal. So big missed moment tonight.
Well, maybe the fear is, hey, remember that ladder match where Jeff was climbing and then dropped the ladder and his ear just started bleeding profusely?
His ear fell off.
Yeah, remember that match? Yeah, I remember.
Hey, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Well, that was Clash of Champions. Any other notes from the world of wrestling you'd like to talk about? I mean, the Ring of Honor Pure title's back. You excited about that?
No. When's Keith Lee gonna get new music? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
When are we gonna get to bask in his glory?
New music. Quit making him wear. His gear's gotten a little bit better since his debut, but I don't know why they felt the need to put a top on him. I don't know if Vince doesn't like shirtless big dudes. I don't know. Yeah, that's big Keith Lee fan. Yeah, his Raw debut has been kind of weird too, because again they've saddled him with a lot of like DQ endings, and he's another guy. Like, give him some wins, build him up a little bit. And like I said, it's just a very kind of so far lackluster,
Yeah. And where is it going with Murphy and Seth Rollins? I mean, that thing's all kind of all over the place right now too. And then I don't know what the hell that segment was on Raw Monday with the whole like, oh, Dominic and the the paternity test, and then maybe we're not talking about Dominic, we're talking about Aaliyah. That whole thing just seems so weird. Like, what writer came up with that and got that approved?
Because now they're gonna have Aaliyah and Murphy become a couple.
Yeah, but why even have to have that moment of like, is Ray even your dad? Like,
it's called milking and stretching this angle out as far as they can, evidently.
I'm like, we all know Ray's not his dad, because he won the contract in a ladder match against Eddie all those years ago. So it's the only reason that Dominic is legally his. Yeah, I don't know, man. I wish they'd move along. That's another angle that we've been watching for like 6 months, and I'm like, okay, can we move on, please? Please.
I really see. I mean, I'm guessing maybe Murphy's going to turn on Rollins, maybe not. Will Andrade and Garza finally split? Maybe not. Host a house party? Maybe not. Will T-Bone betray Flapjack? Who knows? I don't know.
Possible. You never know.
Any other
world of professional wrestling?
News or notes or last words here?
No. Where are the Forgotten Sons?
They've been forgotten about.
They've been forgotten about. Even Arya asked me the other day, where's the Forgotten Sons? We haven't seen them in forever. So somebody remembered them.
I'm good. Good for Arya. Good for Arya.
Yes. See?
She's like, I like Wesley Blake.
We were just talking about the lack of tag teams. Come on. Where's the Forgotten Sons at?
I mean, like, even if Riker's got heat, like, don't put it down on Cutler and Blake.
Yeah. They fought a long, hard road to get there, man.
He was usually just an extra muscle anyway, like,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they did kill him in game night, so.
True. But that's all I got, man. We'll see what the month leads us to as we make our way towards Hell in a Cell.
Get off my cage.
Get off my cage. Coming soon to a screen near you.
I do look forward to it. We'll talk again after Hell in a Cell, probably. Well, let them know where to find you. Future Endeavors Podcast.
Not the Future Endeavors Podcast,
no?
But you can find me. Find me at the Am I on the Air podcast, of course, amiontheair.com. It is an entertainment podcast, television, movies, reviews. That's where you come to play is Am I on the Air? So check that out. Available on all your streaming podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podchaser, Google Podcast, and Red Dragons Radio. So check it all out. Am I on the Air? Every Monday night. Booyah.
This podcast, too, is now on all of those things, too. Spotify, Spreaker, Sprouter, Twitcher, Twatter. All those things you just said. You can find Kayfabe Chats, Kayfabe Corner. On this channel here on YouTube, you can also find some wrestling trivia, interviews. Don Mega, I've been waiting for a month now to do some trivia, but he hates me. Maybe Nate Gator will join. Well, guys, this was Kayfabe Chat saying thanks for tuning in, and good luck on your future endeavors. What?